Shalom ubracha, peace and blessings. This week's Torah reading is Parshat Vaeira. It is a continuation of the book of Shemot, the second book of the Torah, and this week's Parsha opens up with a continuation of a dialogue between Moshe and God. Moshe is still very much the reluctant servant of God, unsure whether the children of Israel or Paro will listen to him. He says to God, "What am I going to say to the children of Israel?" And God answers him with the following words, Lochein emor livnei Yisrael. Therefore, you should say to the children of Israel, Ani Adonai, v'hotzesi eschem mitachas sivlos Mitzrayim. I will bring you out from under the burdens of Egypt. V'itzalti eschem, and I will rescue you. V'ga'alti eschem, and I will redeem you. Bizroa netuya, with an outstretched arm. Ubishvatim gedolim, with great judgments. V'lakachti eschem li la'am, and I will take you for me as a people. V'hayisi lachem le'elohim, and I will be for you a God. The Dubno Maggid asks the following question. Why did God begin with making a statement, I am God, and then continue to use 4 different expressions for the redemption? The Dubno Maggid explains with a parable. He says there was a man who had a very complex health situation. He had trouble sleeping, he couldn't eat, he had pain all over. The doctor examined him and realized that there would be a long journey to healing. And before explaining the complex treatment plan, he began by saying to the man, don't worry, I am your doctor and I will heal you. He then explained the complex treatment plan. The Dubno Maggid understood that physical redemption from Egypt was only a piece of the puzzle. The children of Israel needed to be rescued from their current situation, not only by removing them from it, but allowing them to heal physically. And then they needed the opportunity to heal emotionally and spiritually as well, ultimately being able to enter into a relationship with the Almighty. God realized that this was a generational journey. It is a journey that we are still on today. It is no accident that we have 4 cups of wine at the Passover Seder. Each cup of wine represents another word for freedom, found in this week's Torah reading, another expression of the redemption which leads to freedom. And when we sit at the Passover Seder and we say, B'chol dor v'dor chayev adam liros es atzmo k'ilu hu yotza miMitzrayim. In each generation, a person is required to perceive themselves as if they just went out of Egypt. We are challenged not to remember something that happened long ago as the exclusive context of redemption. We're challenged to realize the aspects of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, that exist within our own minds and in our own lives. If we are slaves to, God forbid, an addiction or an eating disorder, it is a slavery, just like the slavery our ancestors experienced in Egypt. If we are, God forbid, trapped in an abusive relationship, we are slaves to a modern day Mitzrayim. If we are slaves to the perception of status, if we are slaves to what we might think others perceive us as, if we are slaves to our own bias, we are still on this great journey from slavery to freedom and ultimately to the grand destination of V'lakachti eschem li la'am, and we will be taken to God as God's people. V'ayisi lochem le'elohim, and God will be to us a God. It is a journey that in many ways is inherent to the human condition. Sometimes we think we can see the ultimate destination, and sometimes we don't even realize that we are on the journey. And so God began with the statement, Ani Adonai, I am God, V'otsesi eschem, I will bring you out. I will bring you out mitachas sivlos Mitzrayim, from the burdens of Egypt long ago, and the burdens of our own personal Mitzrayim, our own personal Egypt. Yiratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elahei avotenu. May it be your will, God and God of our ancestors, that each of us can begin to see the personal Mitzrayim in our life, the personal Egypt, the things that bind us, that we may begin to envision the path towards our own personal chayros, towards our own personal freedom, and our relationship with each other and God. Shabbat Shalom. May the spirit of Shabbat bring peace into your heart, your mind, and your home.